Here is again BYD Atto 3, and today we'll talk about the emotional part and how it feels when you drive it. In our previous video we already covered the topic of the practicality of the car and all the features. Don't forget to subscribe, leave your like and comment. Speaking of emotional part, obviously the first aspect of that is the design. Design is subjective thing. For me it looks a little bit like a fish. They say that this is something from the dragon spine, but yeah, for me it's more like a fish. I like how it looks from the back. The only thing that bothers me is this giant build your dreams sign. Why didn't they use just the BYD label here? It would look much better. From the front side it looks like an average SUV, nothing super special. We have nice LED lamps here, and as you may notice, my previous video was filmed in summer, now it's winter, and the reason for that is that when I try to film it in summer, I've lost my license plate. The problem is that this Chinese license plate holder is a little bit smaller than German license plates itself. As you can see, it doesn't fit properly here. And yeah, six guys, they were not surprised that I've lost my license plate, but I managed to find it later at the car wash. Thanks God. This is an example of this small, tiny, annoying things that you have in Chinese cars. Let me know what you think about its design. But when you get inside, it gives you much more fun. As we already talked in previous video, they have a lot of crazy stuff here. Just a quick reminder, guitar strings here, so your kids can play. We have crazy door handles, some kind of Hermes style. I'm not sure why this is my analogy. A lot of different accents and parts in the interior, crazy boombox like climate control part. It looks fun, and maybe that's the idea of all Chinese cars. They need to catch your attention, and then when you'll buy it, you will figure out how to use it, even if it's bad in some of the aspects. Because when you start dig deeper into details, you start noticing these small, tiny, unfinished things. For example, let's take a look at this door. We have a lot of different parts and different colors, but from terms of tactile sensations, you have something nice and bumpy here, but then extremely hard plastic here. And when you put your hand like that, it actually damages it a little bit. And then this part, it looks bumpy, nice and cool, but if you try to push it, there are very sharp angles inside. Why did they do that? It's crazy. And the same is at the front part. It's extremely sharp. Okay, finally you are at your driving position. Everything looks nice. The dashboard is attached to the wheel, and even if you change the angle, it will goes up and down together with the steering wheel. Okay. But when you start the car, here is one more tiny annoying thing. You need to wait for an eternity to launch it. Again, it doesn't react. Okay, let's wait. And only now you can turn the gear and you can drive. 3 or 4 seconds. So it basically fails the gangster test. Imagine that gangsters are chasing you, you jump in your car, you need to start it down immediately and start driving, and you need 4 to 5 seconds to just start driving here. For example, in Volkswagen ID.3 you need 1-2 seconds. It works blazingly fast. Just to compare how it works in Volkswagen ID.3, you just jump to the car, press the brake, select drive, and you can go. Or reverse if you're going backwards. All smooth, fast, and nice. And the same for the stopping. You park the car, you just open the door, and that's it. You don't need to stop the engine or do something else. Don't get me wrong. In general, I like the car. But there are a lot of small, tiny, unfinished things that annoys me. And it annoys me that no one wants to talk about it honestly. What I also don't like is the quality of the driver dashboard. So it really could be better. The fonts are really small, but I think they will fix it somehow in the future. Partially, I'm happy that I managed to take it for one more test in winter, because it discovered few other issues for me. First one is about the range of the car. For example, I charged it to full battery yesterday, and today in the morning I discovered that it lost around 6% of charge if it was only -4 degrees. What will happen in -25 degrees, like in Moscow? I don't know. It's strange. And for example, I drove 12 kilometers to this location, and it lost 20 kilometers of range. some strange Chinese maths. And the second thing is about the climate control system. In most of the cars, you know that you can just set it to 22 degrees, set it to auto mode, and it will take care of everything. It will either warm up the interior if it's cold outside, or it will cool down if it's hot outside. Here I had to set it to 28 degrees when it was -4 outside. That is strange. Now it is set up to 22 degrees and to manual setting of super low level of ventilation, because otherwise it will cover all the sound of my voice. Yeah, so it's a little bit cold here. Now finally back to driving. So as you know, all electric vehicles are equipped with this ADAS system, which notifies pedestrians about upcoming electric vehicle. And here in BYD they decided that they need to invent something extremely cool, and you have two modes. First one is standard, and the second one is brand. Let's try to hear how it sounds in standard mode. And then stop. I hope you did manage to hear it. And I hope you also noticed that it interrupts quite unexpectedly. So in most cars, for example in Volkswagen or BMW or whatever, when you hear the sound of the system working, it gradually goes to 0 when you stops. Here it just interrupts suddenly when you stops, and it looks like a little bit unfinished again. Now the second mode, it's called brand. Let's try to hear it. It sounds a little bit dramatic. But unexpectedly, it doesn't affect only the sound of this pedestrian notification system. It also affects the sound of turn signals. When you activate this standard mode, the sound of turn signals is standard. Nothing interesting. But when you activate this brand mode, it sounds a little bit crazy. Why you even need it like that? That's strange, but that's the idea of all Chinese cars. Just because we can do whatever we want. Let's switch back to standard mode and let's drive the Autobahn. We have acceleration from 0 to 100 in 7.3 seconds, which is normal. Front wheel drive. Sound isolation could be a little bit better, I would say. I hear how a wind is licking the car and trying to touch every part of it. But besides that, it's just a standard SUV. In general, quite comfortable. You can't argue with that. But the way how it feels when you drive and the way how it reacts to your actions, it's a little bit clunky. Sometimes it ignores your commands, like if you try to push the acceleration pedal quite fast, it will not react. You see? It has top speed of 160 kilometers, but we will not test it in winter. Here is how it was in summer. Then, yeah, unlimited power. Okay. Let's try just the top speed. 170. According to documents, you can drive only 160. The top range is somewhere around 400 kilometers, but with driving on this kind of speeds, you will have, I think, something around 300. You have 3 driving modes and 2 recuperation modes. Standard, eco, and sport mode for driving, and I'm not sure if it affects really something, because we are now with sport mode, and the reaction on the acceleration is not that fast. Also, you have 2 recuperation modes, one is high and one is standard, and the idea behind that is that with the high recuperation mode it brakes more actively, but still it's not that active to allow you to drive on city speeds without using the braking pedal. That's one more thing that they can adjust. So in comparison to, for example, Volkswagen ID.3, which is somehow poorly equipped in comparison to this one, it feels much better while driving. So we have adaptive cruise control with keep lane assistant. It works pretty fine. It can keep you on the bench when the road is turning, and it works. And it shouts actively when you're not holding the steering wheel. In general, I would say that eventually, I think Chinese manufacturers will maybe conquer the world, but I think they will be focused more on BRICS region, like Russia, Brazil, and all that stuff. And the German manufacturers will not let Chinese cars to get their market. It would be quite stupid. But still, the fact that Chinese manufacturers like BYD came to German market, it's a good thing. But we will talk about it in another video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, leave your like and comment, and see you soon. Bye.